I was savage. I'll be honest with you. On for the first couple of hours.
I thought you said he was a savage.
No, I was savage as she stormed off. It took me a good couple of hours to get over it.
Good couple of hours. Mm.
That's how difficult and traumatic it was.
What's up about it? Yeah.
So a bit of a bolt from the blue, as you can imagine.
But it has opened obviously new opportunities for you with Miss Chamberlain.
Well, and this is the thing. I was surprised that you didn't take me up on this. To be honest, I imagined when I told you about Helen that you would question me with regards to my fidelity.
No, because my recollections of last week were that you hadn't arranged a date or you hadn't started any kind of relationship, but
no.
Are you telling me that you had?
Oh no, I'm saying no more than that. You can't prize any more information out of me, no matter how hard you try.
Your lips are sealed.
My lips are, I'll say no more.
Okay. And what's titillating then, please?
Now, Dale Winton
Dale, yes.
finally stopped harassing me. Thank the Lord!
Well, now Miss Chamberlain's a threat, isn't she? Sorry,
well,
I'll do it again.
It wasn't through choice on his part, Nathaniel, I'm afraid. I was forced to seek legal action, and a sympathetic judge imposed a restraining order on Mr. Winton.
And that worked, did it?
Well, it has so far. The conditions of the restraining order, he's now no longer able to communicate with me in any way, be that verbal, written, electronic. He can't come within 200 yards of me. And if he happens to see me on the street, he must cover his eyes with his hands and race off in the opposite direction at great speed.
Well, you might want to be careful, Richard, because the law as I understand it, you can't actually place restraining orders on homosexuals.
Well, the judge did, and he certainly knew about Dale Winton's deviancy.
Well, I'm just warning you, it may well be within his right to come chasing you down the street trying to feed your arse.
Well, the judge seemed pretty clued up, I'll be honest with you. He had a red smock on and a wig. You know, he looked the part.
Yeah.
So I imagine he knows the law. So that's come as a blessed relief.
Well, I
no doubt about that.
It's held.
Now, one more thing that I need to mention to you. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago you went to, I believe what you described was a thrash metal gig?
Yes, that's right. That is indeed, yes.
Is that right?
That's right.
A band called Slayer.
Yes, I think that's what they were called, yeah.
Now that stuck with me, Nathaniel.
Really?
It stuck with me. The name of the band stuck with me.
Okay.
And your description, your evocative description of how abhorrent and appalling it was.
Indeed.
And so this week, I obviously awash with anger initially over the Yvonne situation. I decided to check some of this stuff out because it seemed, maybe when I was in a rage could be a good time to listen to it.
Okay.
Hateful stuff.
Isn't it just?
Let me give you some track titles, Nathaniel. I don't know if you know about this.
Nah, of course not.
I listened to an album entitled Rain in Blood.
What a ridiculous title. I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Track titles. Angel of Death. Do you know what that's about?
Well, I guess it's about something not very pleasant.
It's about, it appears to be a celebration of the life and work of Joseph Mengele, the Nazi medical experimentation scientist.
Is that real?
That's exactly what it's about.
Is that legal, do you think?
Well,
I think you're asking the same question, actually.
Did I not use that very phrase, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Is this legal? Another track title, Altar of Sacrifice. About, well, I don't really know, an altar of sacrifice, I suspect. Jesus Saves.
That sounds more to the line.
But this is not, that's not meant to be taken literally, Nathaniel. This is lambasting good Christian folk as if they are demented in the head.
You really looked into this, haven't you?
Once I started reading Nathaniel, I was so appalled. You know, it's just like 4 or 5 years ago when somebody gave me a pornographic magazine for the first time.
Oh yes.
I was so disgusted, I just couldn't help but look at it.
Yeah.
Similar kind of thing here. And I've began to petition MPs in the House of Parliament to get this vile filth banned outright.
Good for you.
I hope you'll support me.
Of course I will. I'm right behind you.
Should we move on?
Let's move on. Okay, it's time to bring you all up to speed with all things movie in Hollywood, and yet another vintage TV show looks set to get a big screen airing, this time The Man from U.N.C.L.E. With Steven Soderbergh behind the lens, this could go either way, as his output is variable to say the least. Has anyone actually seen Ocean's 13? Oh good, Seth Rogen's writing another comedy. This one's called Neighbourhood Watch, and as if that news weren't bad enough, it looks likely to star Will Forte, a Saturday Night Live stalwart who turned up in the utterly appalling MacGruber. God spare us, for we are weak and fallible creatures.
Depressingly, Quentin Tarantino has a spaghetti western homage in the pipelines, entitled Django Unchained. Kevin Costner was rumoured to be on board, but as of this week, appears to have dropped out of contention. Be thankful for small mercies, people. After the great success of last year's 127 Hours and the more recent spectacular that was Rise of the Planet of the Apes, seems James Franco fancies turning his hand to directing and likes the cut of Child of God's Jib, which is based on a novel by Cormac the Road McCarthy. The actor stepping behind the camera is fraught with historical failure. This guy seems so good at the moment. Frankly, we'd watch anything he gets involved in. Check it out.
Right, time to get our teeth stuck into a movie that's on current release, and this week it's A Lonely Place to Die. The plot. A group of 5 mountaineers are hiking and climbing in the Scottish Highlands when they discover a young girl buried in a small chamber in the wilderness. They become caught up in a terrifying game of cat and mouse with the kidnappers as they try to get the girl and themselves to safety. Have you seen it, Richard?
Yes, I have.
What did you think?
I'm going to tell you the truth, Nathaniel. I'm not going to cooperate with you on this one.
Why so?
Because all you're trying to do, this is your choice to go and see this film, and all you're trying to do is to get me in trouble again with the Scots.
Well, you don't need my help on that score. You do that well enough yourself.
But you selected this for that deliberate purpose, and I'm simply not going to cooperate.
Well, if that's your belief, then that's your belief. I don't want to change your mind. Well, actually, I do want to change your mind, but I know what a bloody hopeless task that would be.
Listen up. If this was America, I could prosecute you for suspicion of entrapment.
For suggesting that you go and see a movie?
No. For trying to use my thoughts and my opinions against me in such a way that I inadvertently offend an entire nation. Because of your choice, your deliberate action.
I believe this is the part of the broadcast, listeners, where we're meant to discuss a current movie.
So get on with it.
Okay, do you want me to start?
You talk.
Right, I'll talk.
You spout hot air.
Take some deep...
You're gaping maw.
Yourself down, you crass idiot. Right, the film. I thought it was guff, Richard. I thought it was absolute guff. It started off promisingly enough. There were some impressive shots of the Scottish scenery that really kind of capture the bleak and foreboding terrain. And to be honest, the film was fine until the actors appeared. They were very wooden, puppet-like performances that lacked any kind of charisma or talent. You know, if they'd have all fallen off the cliff within half an hour, nobody would have cared. And the storyline, something of a dead horse, kidnap and ransom. Ooh, how original. I thought the director showed a shocking lack of professionalism. The stunt doubles were absolutely ridiculous. One of the ones where the lady's abseiling down the cliff, if they'd have used a cow, it made them look more lifelike. The peculiar notion about this film, Richard, is that as gruffy as it was, if that's a word, It kept me watching. There was just enough entertainment to see me to the end. There's something strangely watchable about it, even after all I've said about it. So there's my opinion.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Like,
Give us this day thy daily bread. You've got to jump in, Nathaniel. I'm going to say the whole thing otherwise.
You don't even know the bloody Lord's Prayer, man.
It's been a while since I've said it, I'll be honest with you.
Too long, clearly.
I tend to indulge in bespoke prayers.
Oh, fair enough.
Personalised.
In tongues, yeah.
Personalised. I don't use the prayers of the great unwashed. I've got my own prayers that are private.
It's recycle.
They're private. You'll never hear them, Nathaniel.
Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Say it again.
Is there a reason for this recital of the Lord's Prayer?
Well, your love of Gandhi, you should recognise not a non-violent protest when you hear one.
A protest, is it? What are you protesting about?
Your choice of film. I've told you.
Oh, fuck.
Your choice of film.
I apologise. I shall try and reinvent my recommendations in future weeks. I'm sorry I offended you so severely.
Listen, I will attempt to contribute now. I think I've been rambunctious enough.
Yes, indeed.
Listen, I like to support British cinema
Absolutely.
as best I can. Because, like with most things, we tend to be better than anybody else at it. But this was inexcusably bad.
So you didn't enjoy it then?
It was rubbish, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
It was rubbish. I mean, the landscape, it's beautiful and dramatic and evocative, but the movie had absolutely nothing else going for it. You said it all, really, Nathaniel. The shocking acting, the wooden acting. I mean, Ed Spielers, the guy that plays the lead male role, Ed. Now, I suspect that when that script was originally written, that character wasn't called Ed. But they had to change it because this Ed Spielers character is so stupid, he can't remember two names at the same time.
Well, he was the first one to die, and it was quite a good consequence, shall we say.
It was so unconvincing as a whole, it bordered on the amateurish.
We're in agreement.
The Starbridge Amateur Dramatics Company put on a version of Hello Dolly last year, and believe me, the performances were far better than this hogwash.
Tend to agree with you, Richard. Are you going to mark it out of 10 at all?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, I apologise. I have a tendency to do this. I'm sorry.
I'm not done yet, Nathaniel. You're the one wanting me to talk.
I am.
Now I'm talking. You're trying to cut me off.
Please continue.
Melissa George in the lead role. She's so beautiful, Nathaniel. The only high point in this film was Melissa George.
Let's hope Helen's not watching.
She's so beautiful. Well, Helen won't be watching, will she? Because this is a podcast. Let's get some facts straight, Nathaniel. Nobody's watching this. People listen to this. You've got no idea what this is, have you really?
It was a slip of the tongue.
You sit in your room with your microphone and you talk, your bilge. You've got absolutely no idea what's going on.
Really?
Watching. Do you think this is going out on BBC One?
I should be lashed to a chair.
You certainly should. Melissa George. She's so beautiful. Oh.